And a few days later, my father calls me and my brother-in-law into his office. He tells us that Pete has been cleared by this forensic examiner and that we need to submit and move forward.
In a shocking turn of events, Joni Lamb, the cherished co-founder of Daystar, was expelled from the network that she had helped to establish. This unanticipated occurrence took place after her son, Jonathan, disclosed something that shook the foundation of the Christian broadcaster. Which revelation was the cause of this profound repercussion? Participate with us as we reveal the truth about the reasons behind Joni Lamb's termination from Daystar Network and the impact it had on her. Jonathan Lamb's unexpected revelations have not only ruined his mother's career, but they have also caused viewers and insiders to question the truth about the events that took place behind the scenes at the network. The ascent of Joni Lamb and the accomplishments of Daystar Television Network is a Christian media giant that has had a significant impact on the lives of countless people all over the world. Joni Lamb has been an integral part of the development and success of Daystar Television Network. Joni Lamb, along with her late husband Marcus Lamb, made significant contributions to the growth of Daystar from its humble beginnings into one of the most influential Christian media organizations possible. They were united by a common goal, which was to spread the gospel through the influence of television. Through their collaborative efforts, they were able to transform Daystar into an international network that provides content that is focused on faith around the clock throughout the day. In 1993, Joni and Marcus founded Daystar with the intention of creating a platform that would facilitate the connection of individuals from a variety of different backgrounds. They started out with a small television studio and a small number of employees, but they had a very specific goal in mind: to bring a message of faith and hope to a world that desperately needs it. Throughout the expansion of Daystar, Joni was always there to provide direction and improve the programming that was being offered by the network. During the initial phase of Daystar, she had a significant impact that was instrumental in establishing the values and culture of the network. Additionally, she quickly established herself as a dependable presence within the Christian community. Her role as the captivating host of Joni Table Talk has been a significant part of Joni Lamb's career and has received a lot of attention. This talk show, which has become a flagship program for Daystar, features uplifting conversations with people from a variety of backgrounds, including writers, religious leaders, and other influential individuals. As a host, Joni was distinguished by her ability to engage both guests and viewers. Additionally, audiences were drawn to her personality because of her genuine warmth and intelligence. She gained recognition for addressing significant topics with a balanced perspective through the medium of Joni Table Talk, which provided her audience with hope, support, and practical insight. Joni's involvement with the network encompassed not only her hosting responsibilities, but also other essential aspects, such as the production of content and the management of programming. She was recognized not only for her ability to educate and entertain, but also for her unwavering dedication to the principles of faith, family, and community. As a result, she earned a reputation as a respected leader in the realm of Christian broadcasting. The results of her work on Daystar earned her the admiration of her contemporaries, pastors, and other influential members of the Christian community. She also gained a devoted audience. In spite of this, Joni's position at Daystar began to shift in 2021, when her husband, Marcus Lamb, who had been a co-founder of the network, passed away unexpectedly as a result of a battle with COVID-19. In addition to being a significant moment for Daystar, this tragic loss was also significant for Joni on a personal level. She was the spouse of the network's visionary founder, and during a time of sorrow and unpredictability, she was faced with the responsibility of taking sole control of Daystar. Joni's faith and determination to honor Marcus's legacy inspired her to take action, despite the fact that the emotional burden of her husband's death weighed heavily on her. The transition of Joni into a leadership role marked the beginning of a new era for Daystar. She remained steadfastly committed to the mission of the network, honoring the dream of her late husband while simultaneously establishing her own legacy. As Joni took on a more prominent role in the decision-making process, the creation of programs, and the overall direction of the network, the dynamics among the employees at Daystar began to change. Despite the fact that the transition was challenging, Joni's leadership ensured that Daystar not only survived, but also flourished while she was in charge. On the other hand, it wasn't long before she began turning up in the news once more. This time around, it was a contentious issue. The remarriage that caused the family to be divided, Joni Lamb shocked her supporters and relatives in 2023 when she announced that she was going to marry Dr. Doug Weiss, a prominent Christian counselor and writer. After the death of her husband, Marcus Lamb, in 2021, Joni went through a period in her life that was marked by a significant change in both her personal and professional life. The marriage elicited a variety of reactions from Daystar's audience members and caused a significant amount of tension within the Lamb family, particularly with Joni Lamb's eldest son, Jonathan Lamb. Jonathan's new marriage was not merely a private affair for him during this time. As time went on, it became an essential component of a more comprehensive conversation about the spiritual and ethical path that the network was taking. After 2 years of going through life without Marcus, who was her companion in the process of transforming Daystar into one of the largest Christian broadcasting networks in the world, Joni Lamb's new marriage represented a fresh start. The people who supported her praised her for regaining her joy and viewed her decision as a manifestation of divine healing grace and spiritual fortitude. A large number of spectators who were inspired by Joni's journey and guidance expressed their joy at the opportunity to witness her beginning a new chapter. They felt that this accomplishment exemplified her conviction that she should move forward while still honoring Marcus's legacy. However, not every response was positive regarding the matter. A number of individuals in the audience were of the opinion that the remarriage was either hasty or inappropriate, particularly for someone like Joni, who serves in the capacity of a spiritual leader. The decision was questioned by those who questioned whether or not it adhered to the biblical principles that she and Marcus had advocated for throughout their ministry responsibilities. Jonathan Lamb, who openly expressed his disagreement with the marriage and portrayed it as a departure from the fundamental principles that his father had upheld from the beginning, was profoundly affected by these concerns. It was Jonathan Lamb's understanding of Scripture and his commitment to preserving his father's spiritual heritage that served as the foundation for his opposition to his mother's decision to remarry. Jonathan believed that Marcus Lamb's unwavering dedication to traditional Christian teachings was the cornerstone of Daystar's success. Marcus Lamb was held in high esteem for his unwavering commitment to these teachings. It appeared to him that Joni's decision to remarry was in direct opposition to those principles, which prompted him to be concerned about the impression that it would give to Daystar's viewers all over the world. In his public remarks, Jonathan made reference to scriptural principles concerning marriage and widowhood. He argued that his mother's rapid remarriage after Marcus's death could potentially put the principles that Daystar was founded on in jeopardy. He was of the opinion that it was of the utmost importance for Christian leaders to demonstrate their teachings through their own lives, and he was concerned that Joni's actions might cause Daystar's followers to become confused or even disillusioned. This criticism, on the other hand, did not originate solely from the outside. Joni's difficulties were compounded by the fact that her family was also opposed to the idea. Increasing tensions within the Lamb family. Not only did Joni's recent marriage spark a theological debate, but it also brought to light deeper disagreements within the Lamb family, particularly between Joni and Jonathan. While Joni continued to steer Daystar in the right direction, Jonathan began to voice his concerns about the direction the network would take with her at the helm. He was of the opinion that the remarriage was an indication of a shift in priorities, one that posed a risk of diminishing the spiritual aspect that had been the defining characteristic of Daystar ever since it was founded. In a statement that echoed her concerns, Susie Lamb, Jonathan's spouse, asserted that the leadership of Daystar prioritized the network's reputation over resolving internal family conflicts. Attempts to maintain an image of unity and strength, the couple asserted, took precedence over the necessity of having honest conversations about the challenges that the Lamb family is currently facing. According to Jonathan and Susie, this method exhibited a concerning trend of placing an emphasis on the reputation of the organization rather than the spiritual responsibility of its members. His criticism of his mother's remarriage was not the only thing that Jonathan Lamb took issue with. In his presentation, he framed the issue as a part of a larger moral and spiritual decline that had occurred within Daystar's leadership organization. According to his point of view, the remarriage was a departure from the original values of the network, which had been founded on Marcus Lamb's unwavering dedication to the principles of the Bible. Jonathan was of the opinion that this shift was evident not only in the decisions made by individuals, but also in the manner in which Daystar handled its internal conflicts and external perspectives. Jonathan expressed his concerns that Daystar was deviating from its primary mission of spreading the gospel and promoting Christian principles in a number of interviews and public statements. He asserted that the leadership of the network, which included Joni, placed a higher priority on making the network conform to modern trends and retaining viewers than they did on protecting the network's spiritual foundation. This criticism struck a chord with certain members of Daystar's viewership, who expressed a desire similar to Jonathan's, that the network should continue to uphold the values that it was founded on. An additional layer of complexity was added to the situation as a result of Jonathan's decision to voice his concerns in public. By extending his concerns beyond the scope of personal family conversations, he brought attention to the growing discord that exists within the Lamb family and raised questions about the future of Daystar. Those who advocated for Jonathan praised his bravery in standing up for what he believed to be reasonable, despite the fact that doing so could potentially cause discord. Despite this, there were those who believed that his actions were unjustified and could potentially be detrimental to the network's reputation. Jonathan made the decision to voice his concerns not simply for the purpose of expressing his complaints, but rather for the purpose of protecting Daystar's spiritual integrity. He was of the opinion that remaining silent would have been a disservice to the countless viewers who looked to Daystar for guidance and inspiration. For the sake of preserving transparency and accountability within the network, he was of the opinion that it was necessary to address these concerns via public discourse. Allegations of misconduct and the family rift. In the year 2024, the Daystar television network was shaken to its very foundations by allegations of wrongdoing. Jonathan Lamb, the eldest son of Joni Lamb and Marcus Lamb, who had passed away, made serious allegations against the management of the organization. Jonathan Lamb, along with his spouse Susie Lamb, voiced their concerns in an open and honest manner regarding significant ethical shortcomings within the network. Daystar was subjected to unwelcome scrutiny as a result of these allegations, which also served to exacerbate a rift that was already developing within the Lamb family. It was alleged by Jonathan and Susie Lamb that the administration of the wrongdoing that occurred within Daystar's inner circle was inadequate, and the allegations were directed at a relative who was associated with the network. Jonathan asserted that his mother, Joni Lamb, was more concerned with protecting Daystar's reputation than she was with confronting the issue openly and seeking justice. According to Jonathan, this involved making an effort to downplay the gravity of the allegations and shield the family member in question from being scrutinized by the general public. Jonathan was left feeling profoundly disenchanted as a result of the fact that this method undermined the ethical and spiritual values upon which Daystar was founded. One of the most noteworthy aspects of Jonathan's accusations was his assertion that Joni attempted to conceal the allegations in order to maintain the illusion of unity and stability within the network. He argued that this decision was made with the organization's image in mind rather than accountability, which resulted in Daystar's audience and employees losing trust in the entertainment company. The decision that Jonathan made to speak out about the matter caused friction with his mother, as well as with the executives of the network, which further exacerbated the discord that already existed within the Lamb family. Jonathan made a personal sacrifice as a result of his willingness to talk about his thoughts and feelings. It was his assertion that the leadership of Daystar had presented him with a non-disclosure agreement, also known as an NDA, which he was supposed to sign in order to maintain the confidentiality of the matter. If he had signed the NDA, he would not have been allowed to discuss the allegations or any information related to them in public. Jonathan, on the other hand, chose not to sign the agreement, thereby highlighting his dedication to openness and responsibility. As a consequence of his decision, he was terminated from his position at Daystar, which was one of the serious consequences that followed. The removal of Jonathan from the network indicated a significant turning point in the already tense relationships that existed within the family. The decision he made to voice his concerns in public contributed to the growing distance that existed between him and his mother. Jonathan did not consider this to be merely a disagreement within the family. When it came to defending the principles that he believed Daystar was supposed to represent, it was a significant matter and a struggle. Jonathan established himself as a dissenting voice in a family and organization that he believed had strayed from its path by making the decision to maintain his firm stance within the setting. These occurrences elicited a variety of responses from individuals who are either supporters or opponents of Daystar. Jonathan's actions were seen by many as an important step towards accountability, and they were praised for his bravery in expressing his opinions. Others, on the other hand, criticized him for bringing up private family matters in a public forum, arguing that these disagreements should have been settled in a more private setting. In addition, the dispute initiated a wider range of inquiries concerning the manner in which faith-based organizations deal with wrongdoing and manage transparency while simultaneously protecting their reputations. Jonathan's career was not the only thing that was hit by this scandal. Even Joni was severely affected by it, and it was nearly impossible for her to recover from the effects of it. The public disclosures made by Jonathan Lamb in 2024 had significant repercussions not only for him, but also for his mother, Joni Lamb, as well as for the Daystar television network. Joni's fallout and internal backlash were also consequences of these disclosures. The consequences of Jonathan's allegations of wrongdoing and concealment shook the foundation of the network and sparked a significant amount of pushback against Joni, not only within Daystar, but also throughout the wider Christian community. The controversy was one of the most challenging periods in her professional life, and it was experienced by a leader who had earned respect for her dedication to service. Numerous individuals were the originators of the criticism that Joni was subjected to. It is said that employees and board members at Daystar began to question her leadership choices, particularly in light of the allegations that Jonathan had disclosed. In light of his assertions that Joni attempted to protect the reputation of a relative rather than pursue justice, questions were raised about her priorities and her ability to make sound decisions. This method appeared to be in conflict with the principles of transparency and accountability that Daystar had consistently claimed to uphold. According to certain individuals within the network, there was an increase in the number of rumblings of discontent, and there was speculation that her handling of the crisis had resulted in a breach of trust within Daystar's leadership department. It was speculated that Joni's position as the leader of Daystar was in jeopardy as a result of these struggles within the organization. There were reports that surfaced indicating that certain board members were challenging not only her leadership decisions, but also her dedication to the family values that had been fundamental to the identity of the network. As a result of her remarriage to Dr. Doug Weiss earlier in the year, which had already caused a rift within the Lamb family and polarized the audience of Daystar, these problems became even more severe. The combination of these controversies gave critics the impression that she was a leader whose decisions were increasingly out of line with the expectations of the Christian community that she represented. As the rumors continued to circulate, it became more likely that Joni would be fired from her position at Daystar. There have been allegations that have surfaced that indicate that board members had discussions about the possibility of removing her from the leadership role that she had held for a considerable amount of time. The mere fact that such discussions took place highlighted the significant amount of internal backlash that Joni was experiencing, despite the fact that there were no official confirmations of these rumors. There were a lot of people who couldn't quite wrap their heads around the idea of Daystar not having Joni in charge. In spite of this, the disagreements that she was involved in sparked an unmistakable feeling of uncertainty within the organization. Significant rifts within the network were also revealed as a result of the aftermath, which brought to light the challenges of balancing faith, family, and leadership in a prominent ministry. The revelations made by Jonathan brought to light disagreements that had most likely been simmering quietly beneath the surface for many years. Several employees and advocates championed Jonathan's demands for accountability, while others supported Joni's leadership as essential for the existence of the network. The conflict between maintaining spiritual principles and safeguarding the network's image emerged as a key issue, and it was a key issue that emerged. Additionally, there was a lack of consensus among members of the wider Christian community. A great number of individuals believed that Joni's leadership was impacted by the controversies, and they questioned whether or not she could continue to serve as a spiritual role model in the face of such widespread criticism. On the other hand, there were those who believed that the backlash was unfair, arguing that Joni was being unfairly criticized for attempting to deal with a difficult and deeply personal circumstance. Therefore, what took place after this? How does the Daystar television network plan to proceed in the years to come? In light of the scandal, do you believe that the Lamb family will ever be able to recover? Well, let's find out. Aftermath and impact of the scandal. The controversy that surrounded the Lamb family and Daystar television network had a significant and long-lasting impact on the relationships within the family, as well as the image of the network. After the dust had settled, the consequences revealed not only the impact that the conflict had on the individuals involved, but also broader issues concerning the challenges of leadership, responsibility, and openness in Christian organizations that are run by families. Joni Lamb and her son, Jonathan Lamb, had been in a public dispute, which caused the family, which had previously been united, to become divided. The decision that Jonathan made to not remain silent about the alleged wrongdoings that occurred at Daystar, in conjunction with his allegations that Joni had attempted to cover up the situation, resulted in a rift that appeared to be irreparable. In the beginning of 2023, Joni made the decision to marry Dr. Doug Weiss once more, which had already caused rifts within the family as well as the network. In spite of this, Jonathan's assertions of moral and spiritual degeneration brought the conflict to the attention of the general public. Within Daystar, the repercussions of the scandal revealed more significant issues than were initially thought. The network, which had been praised in the past as a representation of faith-based broadcasting, struggled with an internal conflict as well as criticism from the outside. The consequences of Jonathan's disclosures caused Daystar's leadership to be called into question, which raised questions about their integrity. The reputation of the network was damaged as a result of allegations of wrongdoing, withholding information, and inadequate accountability, which cast a shadow over the organization's goals and principles. The question of whether or not Daystar could recover from the damage caused by the public disclosure of these conflicts was a topic of discussion among both supporters and critics to the organization. The Lamb family experienced a range of distressing outcomes as a direct result of the scandal. One of the most significant turning points in the dynamics of the family was when Jonathan resigned from his position at Daystar after he refused to sign a non-disclosure agreement, also known as an NDA. As a result of his decision to express his concerns in public, he experienced significant personal and professional repercussions. This was due to the fact that he became more distant from both the community and his mother. While this was going on, Joni was subjected to criticism not only from her son, but also from certain members of the Daystar staff and viewers. Her leadership had been called into question as a result of the dispute, and it was rumored that some board members were discussing whether or not she should step down. It was obvious that Joni's leadership and her family were under a lot of pressure, despite the fact that she continued to hold her position. Furthermore, the scandal had wider-reaching consequences that extended beyond the Lamb family. In the realm of Christian broadcasting, the events that took place with Daystar brought to light the unique challenges that are faced by ministries that are run by families. It is not uncommon for the necessity of accountability and openness to come into conflict with the pressure that is placed on individuals to maintain a public facade of cohesion and spiritual authenticity. In the case of Daystar, these tensions were brought to light for everyone to see, which prompted inquiries into the manner in which faith-based organizations handle internal disputes and allegations of misconduct. In addition, the controversy brought to light the pressures that are placed on prominent ministries by widespread public scrutiny. For a very long time, Daystar has been a symbol of faith and inspiration for a large number of viewers because it is one of the most prominent Christian television networks. In spite of this, the public nature of the dispute brought to light the fact that even the most prestigious organizations are susceptible to being debated and criticized. As a result of the controversy, a great number of people within the Christian community were compelled to contemplate the significance of ethical leadership and the dangers of placing reputation ahead of accountability. As a result of the incident, Daystar was faced with the challenge of regaining the trust of both its audience and its employees. In the case of Joni, the challenge consisted not only of re-establishing trust in her leadership, but also of preserving the legacy of the network that she had established in conjunction with her late husband, Marcus Lamb. In spite of the fact that the scandal had shaken the foundation of Daystar's mission, it also presented an opportunity for self-reflection and personal growth. Daystar has the potential to become more powerful and robust if it takes serious action to address the problems that Jonathan has brought to light and demonstrates a commitment to transparency. During the time that the Lamb family and Daystar are dealing with the aftermath of the scandal, the scenario raises significant questions about the roles of leadership, faith, and transparency in prominent ministries. What are some ways that leaders can handle the pressures of public oversight while also resolving conflicts within their own organization? What role does accountability play in ensuring that faith-based organizations continue to maintain their sense of integrity? What are some ways that ministries that are run by families can deal with the challenges of personal connections and professional obligations? It remains uncertain whether the Lamb family and Daystar will be able to recover from the wounds caused by this controversy. However, The lessons that can be learned from their experience are valuable for leaders in every industry. You should click the next video that appears on your screen, as well as like and subscribe to this video if you found it entertaining.